Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit today about insulin pumps. Um, Basically, what we're looking at is there's a few simple steps as far as it goes. If you encounter a diabetic patient that has one of these pumps, the first thing we want to do is disconnect the pump. Simply just putting the pump in suspend mode or something like that is not enough to ensure that the patient is not getting any insulin delivered. So first thing we want to do is obviously check their blood sugar. We want to see what their blood glucose level is. If they are low, we want to disconnect the insulin pump. There's three. You can see three different connections here. These are the most common connections that Freeman and Mercy put out in this area. So these are what we'll typically see on patients. First one over here on the left, you can see there's just an arrow with a line and then two arrows. It's got two little tabs here. You just squeeze, turn, line up the arrow, and it lifts right off. One here in the middle has two little push tabs. Basically just squeeze that, and pull it right out. You can tell there's a small needle on the inside. And third, this one just basically has a little extension set. They actually prefer to give this one out here because if something were to happen, the pump would fall, something like that. It's not actually pulling it directly on the patient, where these would pull each one of those has a little subcutaneous needle in there, where these could essentially just pull it right out. So this one works just a lot like this one. It's just got a little extension once you unplug it. It's ready to go there. So finally, like I said, when we're talking about this, like I said, the second thing you want to do is take the pump and put it into suspend mode. Just scoot this over here just a little bit and bring up a couple pumps if we can see on the top here. I'm trying to look at the camera. So, first thing, you can look on there and see there is your status screen. You'll unlock the pump. That's going to go into a menu button. You can see right there on the top, you just want to arrow down to suspend delivery. And then you're going to hit confirm to suspend the delivery. It's going to ask you yes or no. You're going to select yes. There we go. It's going to say yes, I want to suspend. There's delivery successfully suspended. When it pops back up the thing, you'll see the status right here across the bottom that says delivery suspended. So it's pretty important when we're doing this to make sure that we do suspend the delivery on their pump. This is one of the newer model pumps that's coming out. I believe this one is a Medtronic's. Medtronic's MiniMed 620G. This is one of the newer models, which is replacing this model, or they're working on, I believe, kind of phasing this one out, replace it with this one. We'll show you how to suspend this one. But we want to make sure that we suspend their device, just for the sure fact we're not wasting insulin, those types of things, and these can be reconnected to the patient as long as we don't shut that off or lose it in the picture. We don't want to pull the batteries out of them because the batteries will cause it to not necessarily lose their settings, but it will lose any save history as far as their basal deliveries and their boluses that they have given. So as far as that goes, I'll show you on the older pump here how to place that in suspend mode. So there's a glare from the light on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here and press the act button. Okay. And you can see there's a arrow button here. You're going to scroll that down to suspend. You're going to push the act button one more time. So actually just suspend. I want to press that, and you can see right there it says that it's suspended. It is on suspend. Okay. Stopped as far as it goes. There also is a little black dot up here at the top that you can tell that shows that the suspension is stopped. So to restart it, it's just simply pressing that button one more time. It's going to ask you if you want to resume it, and it'll give you a little beep and say it's pumping again. Okay. pretty simple as far as that goes. I do want to show you actually how the insulin goes together and how the pump looks. So this is going to be a lot like what you're going to look at when it's actually hooked up to the patient with the pump attached. Okay. So once again, also like I said on this one, we want to make sure that we go in. Okay. I want to go in and I'll suspend my delivery. Okay. Make sure that yes, I want to suspend it. Okay. Delivery is successfully suspended. Okay. And the next thing I want to do, like I said, is I want to just disconnect for that from the patient. Okay. Once I have that disconnect from the patient, like I said, some people they may have you want you to put your insulin pump back together or something like that. That is more than fine for you to do that prior to it. One of the things that I want to stress as far as that goes is if this is a very short-acting insulin. So if we go out, they are hypoglycemic, we have to give them D50 to do so. We got to give them D50 to do so. Bring their sugar up as far as it goes. It's going to be really important that these patients eat, check their blood sugar at least once an hour, and then resume that insulin pump because we don't want their sugar climbing up back into dangerous levels, but only after their sugar has rose and been maintained at a normal blood glucose level. So with this, like I said, it's basically that same extension step, but this is the other end. To remove it from the pump, all you do is you'll just twist the top out right there and it comes out. There should just be a small little vial of insulin. Okay, that's on the top as far as that goes. So basically all that thing does to reset this, you will have to rewind the pump. If you are putting a new insulin drop in there, there's a setting to do that to rewind it. And pretty much what that's doing is pulling the plunger back down inside of the pump, so it can accept a full vial of medication. Then you'll just basically make sure, obviously, everything's clean and sterile, and you're just going to stick the insulin vial back in there. There is a little tab on each side of the thing there. You can see where there's a notch. When that tab lines up and goes back together, it just twists and it locks. Okay, simple as that. And like I said, all the patient settings should still be in there, and then they can just resume delivery with that device.